let's have a look at our next team. Who are we looking at now? It's Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a good team. It's good chances. We have Mr. Bhogle here, of course, who pretends not to support them at all. But inside, of course, there is a little bit of extra heartbeat is on for hometown. Right? Little chai chan biscuit is happening whenever they do well, right?
सिर्फ जुबान बोलता हूँ मैं जुबान बोले तो
दिल भी बोलते हैं नहीं
कौन बोला दिल कौन बोला जॉय बोला
नहीं ऐसे
मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ जॉय डेस्परेट है वो नेक्स्ट ईयर बोलने के बाद मैं भी कुछ बोल रहा हूँ बोल के विलियमसन इज लाइक दिस फाउंटेन ऑफ होप ही इज ऑलवेज डिलीवरिंग होप. So I think Williamson has to play because the problem always has been, can we play all three? Can we play Warner, Bairstow and Williamson, all three? I don't know because I think they want to play Rashid Khan, and I think if they're playing in Chennai, they want a second spinner. Look what happens outside of Rashid Khan in that side, Joy. Can you find another spinner? Yes, you've got Shahbaz Nadeem. Yes, you've got Suchit that they've brought back in. They've got Abhishek Sharma, they've got Mujibur Rahman, but they have to play Nabi. In my view, if it's a slowish track, they've got to play Nabi. And if they play Nabi and Rashid, then they've got only two of those top three to play. So my feeling is for the first 4 or 5 games in Chennai, they'll want the second spinner. And to me, Nabi is a bit like Shakib. He's never really been allowed, or well, he's never really found himself in the IPL. So that is what I thought they would do, go in with the second spinner for the first few games. But I'll tell you what, the Bairstow is batting well. And just because they're worried about injuries to Williamson and Warner, they've brought in Jason Roy and said, look, if that happens, we've got another guy there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got enough problems with openers anyway that they've decided to throw Jason Roy into the mix, right? I mean, you've always had this issue going, if Bairstow and Warner play at the top, then Kane Williamson can't play because you're getting Rashid Khan or maybe a Holder in the middle or a Nabi in the middle, and you need somebody with experience there in the middle. And then Kane Williamson doesn't end up playing. And now to add to that confusion, they've got Jason Roy there as well, who's a gun. I mean, any team would say Roy and Bairstow, yes, please, Joy.
No, absolutely. But I think at this point, I completely agree with Harsha. Nabi has to play the first few games. If you see the last year's run also, they were most successful when they played 2 batsmen, Rashid Khan and the all-rounder. And the all-rounder at that case was the fast bowling all-rounder, Jason Holder, batting at 6. Because what they're not getting is with their young Indian cricketers, they are not getting value at that. 5, 6, 7, they're not getting stability. Somebody like a Holder going out there. Now what they can do is they can get a Nabi to go in out there. But that still means that Kane Williamson sadly does not play in this 11. And that's, if you're playing in Chennai, the first 5 matches, I can't see any way in which they can fit in Kane Williamson into the 11 and justifiably drop somebody of the quality of Nabi. That's one. But the big difference for them this year over last year, 2 things I think. One is definitely the return of Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Bhuvneshwar Kumar is their strike bowler. They have lived and died with his form. His not being there was a huge factor. Bhuvi coming back is fantastic, and Siddharth Kaul is also in a bit of form, which is good for them. So Siddharth Bhuvi coming back means that fast bowling option, that domestic bowling option. Natarajan has come so much up in Bhuvi's absence now. Suddenly you're beginning to get some sort of a shape to your bowling, and that's great news for them.
Yeah, and Sandeep
squad again. Yeah.
And Sandeep Sharma. So actually, I'm not sure Siddharth Kaul will get a game early on because they'll start with Bhuvi, Nattu and Sandeep. And then Rashid. So if all 4 of them are doing well, that's a really solid bowling core there. Then for your 5th, you can look at maybe a little bit of Vijay Shankar, a little bit of Abhishek Sharma. But Joy is absolutely right. All those youngsters that they invested in, people like Priyam Garg, Abhishek Sharma, all these boys be early on.
Samad.
Samad. I hope they just play Samad and say, Chalo, better go and do what you want. Go and hit the ball out of the ground. And just leave him at 6 or 7 to go and finish games.
So interesting. There's a Khalil there as well. Toast of the town, playing for India. We were talking about that, and now suddenly you feel like he might not even get picked as one of the 4 top domestic fast bowlers for his Hyderabad team. Let's talk about Manish Pandey as well, and then I'll come to Kedar Jadhav, who is also in this squad. Remember, it's very weird to see Kedar Jadhav here, but he's there as well. Harsha's pointed him out as the potential X factor for this team, and comes in with the ball as well. So, very clever when it comes to that. But Manish Pandey, right? Manish Pandey, they definitely need one cracker season from him. He's probably out of contention from India. Was again somebody who collected a lot of frequent flyer miles traveling with the Indian team, and now is probably out of contention over there. But they need this. They need this from him, Joy.
Yeah, let's not forget that the first Indian to score a century in the IPL was Manish Pandey. So he's been around. It's difficult, because he's not been that consistent, and others have gone on to much bigger things. It's difficult to realize how long Manish Pandey has been playing, but he's been there from that first IPL. Look, last year was his best season. He got 425 runs. From 396 odd, he moved to 425 runs. But Manish Pandey, with the money they paid for him and the responsibility they've given him, he needs to be a 500, 550 player. If he has a 500, 550 year, they play Samad, they fix Samad at 6. Vijay Shankar comes in the middle. I think this is a formidable team. I think they have all the elements. And look, that Kedar Yadav again is a very useful buy. If nothing else, these youngsters are not working. Stick in Kedar Yadav. He'll get you 2-3 overs of the ball. They're playing 5 matches in Chennai. Now think in Chennai that they have Rashid, Kedar Jadhav, they have Nabi, maybe one more spinner player, Shahbaz. They have a terrific bowling attack for all the team, all the conditions in which they are playing. It's just their batting needs to click.
Gaurav makes a very valid point though about Manish Pandey. You looked at those numbers. Strike rate 121, average 29. His Basra's 150. 150 is not good enough for a top order Indian player. Top order Indian players, you pay through your nose to get an international top order Indian player in your side. So Manish Pandey has been given everything. He's given number 3. He's got to deliver 550 runs this year. Minimum 500. That's his qualifying cutoff. He's got to deliver 500, 550 for them this year. He does that, he'll take a lot of pressure off everybody else. The reason I said Kedar Jadhav is I think they've got a really good top 4 and they've got someone like a Samad Nabi behind him. Kedar Jadhav is free. If Stephen Fleming ever sees the blog I did where I said Kedar Jadhav could be the X factor, he would splutter over all his drinks and say, mate, I wouldn't mind if he had done a little bit of that for Chennai. He didn't do anything for Chennai. But I don't know, he's had a good Vijay Hazare. It's just an instinct. There's no logic to suggest he could be the X factor, just an instinct.
Well, would that happen? If that happens, here's the thing. The Hyderabad team looks really solid. I think, again, for them, perhaps the advantage is that there is a bowling unit that is informed. Remember, when they won the title, it was their bowling that won them the title. They would defend scores with less than a run a ball, right? They would do that. If they can get that going again this time, they've got enough batting might to really get consistently average scores right through. If their bowlers can defend that, then they are really, really a formidable team. They're a team to watch out for. I think that's what probably the numbers say as well. I think the rating points that all of us have given. There's me, I've given them an 8. I would have given them a 9 if Kane Williamson was playing. But anyway, this is Kane Williamson's last season with Hyderabad. He's going to captain Chennai next year. What? What did I just say? What?
It's called the curse of the next year. It's called the curse of the next year. Already 66% of the panel has been afflicted by it.
Here's my point. All right, here's my point. If there is going to be some time that MS, and it's impossible to think about, but MS hands over captaincy to somebody in that yellow jersey, right? He will still be a part of running the team. I'm absolutely sure. There's no way that the city of Chennai will let him leave. For those 2 months, they'll probably have him under house arrest in Chennai. He can't leave. If you were to think in world cricket right now, good leader, calm, an addition to the duo of Fleming and Dhoni in terms of temperament. That there's only one guy, and underutilized by his current team.
You make a good case.
Why writing someone else's book? Why are you writing a book for somebody else? You can say by Gaurav Kapoor.
What do you mean, huh?
By Gaurav Kapoor, bol do. Only thing is, what title will you give him? None of us speak Tamil, so we'll have to find a title for him. But till then, he is Hyderabad ki shaan Ken mein. Ken bhai.
Oh, very upset. Very upset. Hyderabad ki shaan kidhar aap khilate hi nahi usko. Make him play.
अरे बड़े भाई लास्ट ईयर साहा ओपन करा जब विलियमसन ही था वो मेन प्लेऑफ में विलियमसन ही था इंटर बैटिंग कर रहा था उन्होंने नहीं करे तो मिल गए थे मिट्टी में.
You have to make him play 16 games. देखा
मेरे टीम में पहले 5 मैच मेरे टीम में है उन्होंने.
No, he has to be there, definitely. And if he's there, then I take my rating point from 8 to 8.5. Little jump. Incentive. देखो तो कितना बड़ा दिल है.